News Tonight this Saturday. NATO escalates the air campaign against Serbia, and inside Kosovo reports of a new campaign of terror against ethnic Albanians. American troops in Bosnia on alert, now a possible target for Serb bombers. And two old enemies prepare to face off on the baseball diamond.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Saturday.
Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Vargas. There is evidence tonight of a growing human catastrophe inside Kosovo. It is difficult to know what is going on the ground, but the few reports we have paint a very grim picture. Here is the latest. Today, NATO announced it is escalating the air assault on Serb targets to include troops and artillery inside Kosovo. But it is not clear that that will stop an apparent campaign of reprisal against ethnic Albanians there. There are reports tonight of forced marches, destroyed villages, and possible massacres. We begin our coverage with ABC's Hillary Brown.
These are the dispossessed of Kosovo, frightened, traumatized, destitute. This man lived right on Kosovo's border with Macedonia. Forced to flee across the frontier, he can still see Serb paramilitaries stealing his car. This young mother says she saw a family of 30 people taken out and shot. This old woman says the Serbs are killing and mutilating her people. Most of these Kosovo Albanians say they were given a simple choice: get out or get killed. Once again, the Serbs seem to have embarked on a savage round of ethnic cleansing, burning whole villages so their inhabitants can never return. And now there are alarming reports that Albanians are being used as human shields against airstrikes. A senior administration source told ABC News that entire communities in Kosovo are being herded into military areas that might be targeted by NATO warplanes. ABC's Stringer in Pristina says this happened south of the capital.
There have been reports coming from the town of Kačanik, which is on the south part of Kosovo, close to Macedonian border. There was reports of the villages being taken and sent close to the military barracks.
In the towns, Albanians now live in fear of being dragged out of their homes by Serb police or armed civilians bent on revenge. An American who managed to contact his relatives in the town of Peja, near the capital, says the paramilitary police are going from house to house, evicting the occupants.
And they are separating them. They are taking the men outside the city in the hills, and they are assuming that everybody's assuming that they have been executed.
Not much can be done to protect the Albanian civilians of Kosovo without sending in ground troops, a thing that all NATO nations say they will not do. Instead, they'll try to bomb Mr. Milosevic back to the peace table, while the Albanians run or pray for their lives. Hillary Brown, ABC News, London.
Today, NATO announced it is expanding the list of targets to include exactly those Serb troops and artillery that are waging the campaign of terror inside Kosovo. ABC's Martha Raddatz has that story.
Today, NATO showed the results of its attacks on Serb air defenses, command and control centers, and aircraft. But with Serb armor patrolling the deserted streets of Pristina and continuing reports of wholesale slaughter, NATO announced today it will expand its aerial assault, targeting the Serb troops and artillery bombarding Kosovar villages.
With this aim in mind, the broader range of operations will allow NATO commanders to intensify their action against Yugoslav forces.
NATO had hoped to destroy most of the Serb air defense system before moving to this second phase of bombing, in particular the surface-to-air missiles that are aimed at NATO pilots. Now the planes will be flying even lower, facing even greater danger.
We're in the ball game now, and we're probably going to be losing somebody in the next few days, getting them killed.
Even as President Clinton was briefed on the situation by Joint Chiefs Chairman Hugh Shelton today, there was concern that an expanded air campaign alone will not stop the Serb assault. A senior U.S. official said today, we've got to have ground forces. But that was an idea quickly dismissed by the Pentagon and the Vice President.
We have no intention of putting ground troops into a combat situation there.
But that will not end the debate, for no matter how many warplanes and cruise missiles are sent to hit Serb targets, Even NATO concedes that it is simply not possible to stop Serb forces from a door-to-door campaign of terror.
And as one U.S. official told ABC News, those that don't believe what's happening are like those in the 1940s who didn't believe what was happening in Germany. Martha Raddatz, ABC News at the Pentagon.
Serbian television is claiming tonight that Serb forces have shot down a NATO jet. The Serbs claim these are pictures of a Canadian NATO jet shot down over Serbia. If true, it would be the first NATO jet shot down in this 4-day air campaign. But again, this is an unconfirmed report on Serbian television. For the second day in a row, Serb aircraft crossed the border into Bosnia. Today it was helicopters. Yesterday, NATO forces shot down 2 MiG fighter jets. NATO believes the Serbs' intended targets were U.S. peacekeeping troops. ABC's Sheila McVicker reports.
Today, because of the threat from Yugoslavia, the nearly 5,000 U.S. soldiers stationed at the Tuzla Air Base in northern Bosnia are under orders to wear flak jackets and helmets at all times. Just a few minutes flying time from Serbian air bases, air raid sirens have sounded here twice in the last 24 hours, and the soldiers have sought safety in shelters.
Well, anytime you're in an operation such as this, there's always risk. But we assess force protection measures daily to ensure that we're taking appropriate measures to protect our force.
NATO believes the mission of the Yugoslav MiG fighter pilots downed yesterday was to attack the U.S. troops. The wreckage of the fighter jets is scattered over Bosnian fields, their pilots still missing. They were shot down after their takeoff was detected by early warning AWACS planes flying high overhead.
Our aircraft took the appropriate counter-offensive action and engaged their targets, shooting both down.
This morning, U.S. radar picked up 2 Yugoslav helicopters in Bosnian airspace, possibly an attempt to pick up the downed pilots. But when challenged, the helicopters fled back across the border. But the soldiers here, trying to keep the peace in another Balkan nation, find themselves vulnerable amid fears that Yugoslavia may seek to widen the conflict by attacking a tempting target, U.S. troops in the territory of a neighboring nation. Sheila McVicker, ABC News, Tuzla.
NATO's campaign is intensifying, but so is American support for the operation. According to the latest ABC News poll, 60% of Americans surveyed yesterday said they support NATO's airstrikes. That is up from only 47% the night before the bombing began. Still ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday, Russia's dilemma, angry at the West for bombing Serbia, but needing something from the West, money. And a change in tune from New York's Mayor Giuliani, and a change in policy. Plus, America reacts to the Kevorkian verdict.
This is World News Tonight, Saturday. Brought to you by Total Cereals.
Raisin Bran, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? That Raisin Bran has less than half your folic acid for the day. Even less of your zinc.
That's a weenie breakfast, Frank.
There's almost no vitamin E at all. Looks like you need Total Raisin Bran. Just one bowl gives you 100% of 10 important vitamins and minerals you need for the day. No other Raisin Bran comes close.
Attaboy, Frank.
And there's room for my spoon.
Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. What are you getting for breakfast?
When I come home from work, I just want to play with Sam, not be a disciplinarian. But he's got this security blanket, and I know it's time he gives it up. He drags it everywhere. By the end of the day, I cringe when I think about what's crawling on it.
Ew. Finally, there's a detergent that does more than clean. It sanitizes. New Tide with bleach, the only way to kill 99.9% of bacteria.
As long as he gets rid of it before he goes to the prom.
Getting those urban cowboys on horses was trying enough. And you throw in some serious chili, we're talking major heartburn. And we were way out there in this cowboy. He pulls this Zantac 75 out of his saddlebag. I said, what are you, a Zantac salesman? He said, no, I'm a doctor.
The medicine in Zantac 75 is the #1 doctor-prescribed acid reducer. It relieves even your toughest heartburn, controlling acid for up to 12 hours.
Hats off to you, Doc.
Zantac 75 for tough heartburn. Doctors know.
In Moscow today, Serb sympathizers protested for the 3rd day outside the American and British embassies, and Russian lawmakers overwhelmingly passed a resolution condemning NATO's attack on Yugoslavia by a vote of 366 to 4. But the crisis in Kosovo has created a dilemma for Russian leaders. ABC's Richard Gisbert is in Moscow.
Riot police stood between the U.S. Embassy and angry Russians today. The building is scarred by 3 straight days of demonstrations. We're here, this man said, because Serbs are our brothers through blood and religion. In today's emergency debate in Parliament, ultranationalist Vladimir Zhirinovsky showed up in uniform, ready for war. No surprise there. What is significant, though, is what's being said by Russians who are normally pro-Western.
Russia was not starting the war. The bombing came from NATO. You have no right to start the things that you don't know how to finish.
And how angry they are. Many of those who protest both on the streets and here in Parliament accuse NATO of acting immorally. But there's another moral quandary at play here that pits Russia's traditional support for the Serbs against a new reality, one that is purely economic. While Prime Minister Primakov listened to the anti-American rhetoric, the head of the International Monetary Fund came to Moscow to negotiate $4.6 billion in emergency loans from Western governments. Some say it's hypocrisy for Russia to criticize the U.S. hat in hand.
That's immoral situation when government tries to have the credits from the aggressor states.
And that's the painful irony for Russians. They're so very angry at the West at a time when economically Russia needs the West more than ever. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, Moscow.
Over the last 4 days, we've watched the launching of some of the jets carrying out the NATO bombing. So far, we don't know much about how successful the campaign has been. But today, we heard from the pilots about what the last few days have been like. ABC's Bill Redeker is at the NATO airbase in Aviano, Italy.
For the first time today, NATO pilots were allowed to talk about their mission and why they are committed to attacking Serbian targets.
Thinking mostly about the guys that are getting slaughtered down in Kosovo, and hopefully we're doing the right thing and helping them out.
I mean, we just hate to see that carnage going on day after day without anybody standing in and trying to protect these folks from a gangster in Belgrade.
Since the campaign began 4 days ago, the Allied forces have flown more than 250 sorties. Today, we learned they have had to dodge 17 surface-to-air missiles. But pilots say they are surprised there haven't been more.
I mean, every night we've gone out expecting, this is the night they've been waiting for, and it's been kind of eerily quiet, if you will.
The intense pace of the operation and the need to keep more than 130 aircraft combat ready has put pressure on maintenance and munitions crews, the backbone of Operation Allied Forces.
In the past few days, yes, it's high tempo, 12-hour shifts, 24-hour coverage.
We're trying to boost morale, keep people up, make sure that everything is fully functional.
Those who work on these planes and load them with weapons say years of training are now paying off, that their combat mission is becoming routine. Well, almost routine.
Tomorrow, a new and more dangerous challenge. NATO plans to begin attacking Serbian troops and armor with these A-10 tank busters. Dangerous because the planes fly at low altitudes, exposing pilots to anti-aircraft guns. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Aviano, Italy.
When we come back, strong reaction to a controversial verdict.
When some people have allergies, they sneeze a lot. Others get an itchy, runny nose or nasal congestion. Me, I had it all. So I said to my doctor, enough already. He prescribed Flonase nasal spray.
Multi-symptom Flonase. Once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and all night long. For any or all of those nasal symptoms.
All it takes is Flonase.
For best results, Flonase must be used daily. Maximum relief may take several days. Side effects are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For nasal allergy relief, ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
For centuries, our kings were cursed. Their sedans had narrow handrails, making them hard to control in the corners. Sadly, many kings lost their thrones. Eventually, it was learned, wider is better.
With its speed-sensitive steering technology, the Wide-Track Grand Prix gives you precise control in the corners.
The ancient scriptures still read, Yoyangbo Takido.
Wider is better. The Wide-Track Grand Prix by Pontiac.
With all we have to do today, does it make sense to keep color on your hair for 30 minutes when you can get rid of the gray in 5? Just 5. Great color, body, and shine in 5 gentle minutes. Just 5. Smart hair color. Works for me.
Out here, I'm in command. So am I supposed to say, slow down, guys, I'm constipated? I don't think so. You try to eat right. Sometimes you can't. Harsh chemical laxatives, they can kick in whenever and wherever. Not an option. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. It's got 100% natural fiber. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
Sunday, if you suspected your spouse was unfaithful, would you resort to a hidden camera to prove it? See what happens when this man did. Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer, 2020 Sunday. Then.
You can't force us to take this case.
They've defended killers before. This time it's unthinkable.
Look at what he did. You want him free one day?
An all-new Practice, ABC Sunday, right after 2020.
New York City's sometimes combative mayor took a more conciliatory tone today. It follows weeks of building resentment and anger over the fatal shooting of an unarmed African immigrant, Amadou Diallo, killed in a hail of 41 bullets fired by 4 New York City police officers. Here's ABC's Mark Mullen.
They are words many thought they'd never hear from the proud mayor of New York City.
Might be that I made a mistake in not being more open to meetings like this.
The same mayor who, until this week, refused to meet with minority leaders who he recently accused of political grandstanding. The same mayor who's enjoyed touting the lower crime rate brought about by his police officers.
Maybe there's another side to that. Maybe they have therefore been given a sense that there's some license on their part to do this in any way possible and to be brutal even at times.
Today, Giuliani met with State Controller H. Carl McCall, a critic of the mayor's police policy. This week, the 4 police officers were indicted for second-degree murder. Protests over the shooting started with a small crowd, but quickly grew to become one of the largest displays of civil disobedience in New York City's history. Included a former mayor, religious leaders, and even movie stars. The demonstrations expanded into a debate over racial profiling, police conduct, and the perceived insensitivity by New York City's mayor.
Such a large segment of the community felt alienated, felt left out of the process, felt unprotected.
What our mayor has to learn is that you don't have to like the people that oppose you. You have to listen to them.
I have the street crime.
The police department has announced it will restructure the controversial street crimes unit to include more minorities. And New York's mayor, once so defensive about his police department, said he will continue meeting with minority leaders to consider their suggestions for change.
Thousands and thousands of people in this city now realize that they can stand up and they can make a difference.
Mark Mullen, ABC News, New York.
Dr. Jack Kevorkian is free on bail tonight, awaiting sentencing that could send him to prison for decades. A jury convicted Kevorkian late yesterday of second-degree murder. There is strong reaction today, both for and against the guilty verdict. ABC's Tim O'Brien reports.
His name has become synonymous with his cause, but opponents of physician-assisted suicide were today hailing Jack Kevorkian's murder conviction as a synonym for victory.
We count this as an important victory, hopefully a very serious setback to the worldwide euthanasia movement, which we oppose.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
But doctors who have crusaded to legalize physician-assisted suicide saw the verdict differently.
I don't think there's going to be a long-term impact. I don't think this really had a great deal to do with good end-of-life care. I think this had to do with stopping Dr. Kevorkian.
A new ABC News poll shows that most Americans, 55%, disagree with the jury's verdict.
It's just a right, and I don't think he should have been convicted.
I really don't think it justifies any means by putting him in jail. So I think it's ridiculous.
Only Oregon allows physician-assisted suicide, but what Kevorkian did would have been illegal there, too.
Oregon does not allow active euthanasia. It allows the provision of a potentially lethal medication that the patient takes by their own hand.
Nor may a doctor unilaterally assist suicide, as Kevorkian has often done.
At least 2 physicians have to be involved and confirm that the person is terminally ill and is acting rationally and in accordance with their own wishes.
Bouchong says Oregon's law will not be affected at all by the verdict in Michigan. No jurisdiction in Western civilization authorizes the doctor to actively take a patient's life. The Kevorkian case may not change that, although it's sure to further fuel the debate. Tim O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead, a field of dreams in Cuba.
We have new facts about a nationwide conspiracy. Its members are profoundly happy. They're not forced to stay, but once they join, they never want to leave. Here's their latest recruitment effort.
Now buy a DirecTV system and get free installation, plus 3 free months of programming, with no long-term commitments. So hurry, sign up today.
Someday we will all be one of them. Who are these people?
DirecTV, what are you looking at?
Used to be. If I want something done right, I called me. It worked. Until I tried to quit smoking. I needed more than me. I got Nicorette. Nicorette helped me 2 ways. I used it on a regular schedule to help prevent my cravings, and for unexpected cravings, I was ready with an extra piece. I used to be a slave to cigarettes. Nicorette helped me hang on, helped me win. Now that I'm nicotine-free, I gotta tell you, it feels good to win.
Now Nicorette is available in mint. What a refreshing choice. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Be careful, it is hot.
Yes! Hit the time!
New spotless ties from Stafford. Treated, protected, and now on sale at JCPenney. For the perfect blend of silk and wool, slip into Stafford's Silk Blend Sport Coat. Now $129.99 during the spring sale at JCPenney.
Hey, who had the houndstooth?
Nature made me a person of many parts. Nature made me determined to make all of them last. And thankfully, to help, there are premium quality nature-made vitamins and herbs. Like vitamin E, which research shows can help keep my heart healthy. There's no stopping me, because nature made me.
In Havana today, counting down to game time. For the first time in 40 years, Major League Baseball will return to Cuba tomorrow when the Baltimore Orioles play Cuba's All-Stars. But this game is about a lot more than just batting and pitching. ABC's Antonio Mora is in Havana tonight. Good evening, Antonio.
Good evening, Elizabeth. The Cuban government and the Orioles both insist that tomorrow's game is no more than a sporting exchange, that it has nothing to do with politics. If they believe that, they may be the only ones who do.
Cuban baseball looks like its American counterpart, but here it's not just the national pastime, it's the national obsession. The biggest fan, the Cuban leader himself. For his government, the success of Cuba's national team is business of state. Here, promising 8-year-olds go to state baseball schools. They look to the promise of a better life, the government to the promise of a better national team. It's homework in the morning, baseball in the afternoon. Orlando Hernandez used to be one of them. 10 years ago, El Duque told us he'd always want to play in Cuba. Last year, he fled on a raft for the promise of a better life in America.
Yo amo a los Yankees.
Now free to speak, he said it was the Yankees he loved. And they loved him, signing El Duque to a multi-million-dollar deal, watching him help them win the World Series.
Nice comeback by El Duque.
Now it is Americans who are coming to Cuba, and the old stadium is getting fresh paint. Many in the U.S. worry the trip and the game will give Castro's regime its own fresh look.
Castro will control the crowd, and it will be carefully orchestrated, as everything in Cuba is.
Cuban fans are thrilled that their team will play against U.S. major leaguers for the first time in 40 years. The irony is that the fans will be shut out, watching on TV. Only those invited by the Cuban Communist Party will get to watch here at the stadium. Elizabeth?
All right, Antonio, thank you for that live report from Havana. Coming up next, thousands of miles away, the Kosovo crisis strikes close to home.
I love my life, my husband, my 2 little girls, my job. But when I get a migraine, everything suffers. So what do? I take Excedrin migraine. I found out it's the only non-prescription medicine that's FDA approved for migraine pain relief. It really works for me. It gives me the strong, fast relief I need
But what really matters is it lets me get back to the life I love. Excedrin migraine. Trust me, it works.
We're gonna change your mind about coloring your gray with the natural look of Just for Men.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men. No one can tell with Just for Men.
Just for Men penetrates hair deep inside where natural color begins. Simply apply, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through.
Have you seen Transitions lenses lately? Indoors, the changing tint is clearer. Outdoors, they're the darkest Transitions lenses ever. For all-day comfort and convenience, Transitions lenses, right in any light.
I'll be seeing you.
Visit our website or call 1-877-4-TRANSITIONS.
If you watch one series this century, this should be it.
This Century, Monday.
Recapping our top story, there is now word that that plane shot down out over Serbia may be American. There are reports that a U.S. Air Force F-15 fighter is down over Serbia. The Pentagon is refusing to comment. We go live now to Martha Raddatz, who is at the Pentagon. Martha, have you been able to learn anything?
Elizabeth, what the Pentagon will say is that they are investigating these reports. They, too, have seen the reports and the Serbian television pictures of some sort of aircraft in flames. But I don't think we'll get any positive word from the Pentagon. Certainly one reason is if this plane has indeed crashed in Serbia, there would be a search and rescue operation going on right now, as there was in 1995 when the aircraft of Scott O'Grady went down, and there was also video of that crash as well.
Martha, that does obviously lead to the next question, which clearly we don't have any clear word on yet, but the pilot, the crew on board that plane, we don't have any idea if they were able to eject safely?
Absolutely no idea yet, and that's another thing they would not confirm or deny here tonight. They just said they're still investigating.
They are still investigating at this hour, Martha. Do we have any idea when we might have anything a little bit more definitive?
Well, certainly word from over there will start leaking out. As you know, the pictures are already being broadcast all over. The Dutch foreign minister is one of the people who said he got reports that an F-15 had been shot down. There were reports that it was a Canadian plane, then the F-15. There are also reports out of our bureau chief in Atlanta saying he's heard there are several NATO planes shot down. We'll have to keep on top of this.
And just to confirm, Martha, these reports are coming from several different sources, not from Serbian television?
Well, Serbian television is saying that a Canadian jet was shot down, and that's what the Serbs are saying in their reporting on Serbian TV. The report about an American F-15 being shot down is coming from the Dutch foreign minister. Those reports are coming out of Amsterdam. At the Pentagon, they are saying nothing beyond the fact that they are investigating. Also, you should remember, Elizabeth, the Serbs have claimed many times before that they've shot down NATO aircraft, and those reports have proved untrue, but this time they do have those pictures of an aircraft in flames.
All right, Martha Raddatz, live from the Pentagon tonight. Thank you so much for that report. I'm sure we'll be continuing to update as the evening progresses. And that is our report for tonight. Tomorrow on This Week with Sam Donaldson and Cokie Roberts, NATO Secretary General Javier Solana. I'm Elizabeth Vargas. I'll see you again here tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
They come from all over the world. They come with dreams of gold. They come to face Michelle Kwan for the world title. Tonight at 8 on ABC.
Meet John Grieber. This is what he does. This is what he drives. Chevy S10 with armored brake lines. It's rugged, just like John. During Chevrolet's Highway 99, it comes with 0.9% APR financing or $1,500 cash back. So John can save his money for more important things like health insurance. Chevy S10, now with 0.9% APR financing or $1,500 cash back. See your Chevrolet dealer today.
They come from all over the world. They come with dreams of gold. They come to face Michelle.